Today I'm bringing you a video that initially was just ridiculous and funny, an absolute gross waste of taxpayer money, but then it got a bit concerning and maybe acts as yet another reminder why you always record police encounters or even in the vicinity of police with some cops. What I ended up getting on video here is not at all what I intended to get on video, not what I was looking for, but it's what happened when I was trying to do something else. At, of course, the Orange City Police Department in Florida that has gotten a lot of recent attention. What you're going to see has never been seen, and it's from several months back. And for it to make sense, I'm going to have to set the scene for you. Then, with that information, and once you see what happened, you can make your own determination of what we saw, how you feel about it, and you can share it in the comments. And if you're not yet subscribed, just go ahead and do that now. It's free. And turn on the notifications so you can be the first to see what comes next. So several months back, I came here to the Orange City Police Department in this video you're seeing right now, looking into what at the time were brand new allegations against a now former officer with this department. As a result of everything that followed, that officer was terminated, charged, and arrested for a felony and a misdemeanor. But on this day, it was brand new. It had only been about a week since I made this department aware of the very serious allegations against that cop, and an internal investigation was initiated. Even with the serious and disturbing allegations and the fact that they were investigating, I learned that that officer had not been reassigned, he had not been suspended, and it was still just business as usual, where he would have been free to continue doing what he had been accused of doing. So I came to the police department today on a day that I believed he would be working, unless they had just suspended him and I wasn't aware of it yet. And I showed up a little bit before the time that he was scheduled to start his shift. I wanted to see for myself if he was still here or not. Many of you remember that yes, he was very much still actively working, and he was only very reluctantly suspended after heavy public pushback. And it was no secret why I was here this day. I had encountered a couple of officers as they came and went. I asked them if Officer Brown would be working or if he was working. I told them that there were some serious things going on that they weren't aware of yet, and I wanted to see if he was still working, and if I can get a chance, maybe speak with him. Obviously, that information surely very quickly got back to Brown, who did work this day but never showed up here. I spent a decent amount of time just walking around outside, just waiting to see if he shows up. And during this entire time, there was a sergeant inside the building, and his vehicle was parked out behind the police department, which I had seen shortly after I got there. That sergeant was Brian Kibbe, who I personally had never had any negative encounters with. Really, no encounters at all. I've never dealt with him really that I can recall. But in passing, he did always seem pretty grumpy, and anonymous co-workers say the same of him, and some more. And I'm soon about to find out that Brian Kibbe seems to be upset that I'm investigating serious allegations that were later validated on one of his fellow officers. I had no interaction with Kibbe. We exchanged no words, but he was clearly angry. And instead of working, instead of policing, you're going to see him spending a ridiculous amount of time inside this police department watching me on camera, retaliating. Spending the people's money retaliating on the people who are doing nothing more than trying to ensure that police officers are not abusing their positions to victimize people. But in that retaliation, it seems like he may have been trying to set something up to fabricate something, to take his retaliation, his feelings enforcement, and his ego to another level. I'm about to show you what I'm talking about, and I'm going to give you a volume warning. Things are going to get very loud several times throughout this video. This is what they do. Every time I come back here. So he's inside watching me on the cameras, setting off the alarm to his vehicle here every time I'm near it. And right here, you can't hear me, but I'm pointing out that this location is surrounded by small businesses and residences, as this feelings enforcer creates a noise disturbance for them as they try to enjoy their evening. Once he got our attention, let's look inside of it. I'm going to talk over this for a moment so you don't have to keep listening to that solidly without a break. But since he demands our attention, we're having a look inside. This is something they've done before at this department, and it went on 10 to 15 minutes before I started showing you this video. This is one thing a department does when they have things to hide and the public comes around to look into those things. They try to deter you. This department very frequently does this. They set off the alarms. Set off the alarms, which I wasn't paying any attention to Sgt Kibbe. Sgt Kibbe is inside. I saw him a minute ago. I have no interest in him. But since he got our attention, well, his car's kind of a mess in there. Got cigarette packages and empty cans, towel. I don't know, look like he's making a mess. Spilling all his stuff. I don't know, since he wants to get our attention, we'll have a look at it, I guess. Set off that alarm to be like, hey, come look at me, come look at me. They do this frequently here at the Orange City Police Department. They think it's going to chase the public away. You see the mentality with these agencies, or with some members of these agencies? Well, that's kind of grim. It's kind of grim that would be there for reasons I won't even get into with this particular person. That's interesting and ironic, though. That's another story. That's another whole story. Definitely interesting. So what I think has happened as well, I believe that people here, or even administration, have tipped off the officer that's being investigated of my presence, which is kind of odd, right? If they have an officer doing things they're not supposed to be doing, potentially criminal things, potentially victimizing people, why would they want to try to assist him, right? They don't stand for that, do they? Or do they stand for it unless they not stand for it unless it's one of their own? Interesting. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? You did it again. You did it again. As I'm putting this video together, I'm realizing how annoying it's going to be for you to be listening to a horn relentlessly blaring on and off for like 30 minutes. So I'm not going to make you endure all that, but I'll show you enough so you get the picture. What I didn't know at this moment, and I found out later, which is what made this get a little dark, was this. The fire department is right next door to the police department, divided only by a little parking area. And they share a radio frequency where they can communicate with each other between the police department and the fire department from building to building. And someone from the fire department told me that during this time that he keeps setting this alarm off, he radioed over to them and asked them if they could see me pulling his door handles. But that's weird. Why would he ask them that when he's fully aware that he is the one setting off the alarm? People from within the police department told me that he later bragged about it. He was watching me on camera and he was setting off his alarm. So, that's weird. He knows I'm not touching the vehicle, but why would he ask them, who don't have a super clear view, if they can see me doing anything to his vehicle? A crazy person might think that sounds like a feelings enforcer trying to create a false witness, knowing that they can definitely hear this alarm going off and they can see bits and pieces of me over there in the area. And this, unfortunately, is a police tactic. When police want things to go the way they want them to go, but it's really not accurate, sometimes they'll create a false witness by giving them just enough information to make that witness agree to what they've said. Hey, you see him over there pulling my door handles, right? Oh yeah, I think I can see that. You mind writing that down on a statement form for me? Now, to everybody else, it doesn't look like it's the cop saying it. It's an independent witness. Or he could have potentially just hoped that someone would lie and say, yeah, we saw it. Ha ha ha. High five.
High five.
But luckily, those are firefighters, not cops. Cops who often brag about the fact that they're allowed to lie to people.
He was honest, so he admitted where he got it from. And he goes, you lied to me. I'm like, well.
You say, thought about it.
Not to mention, I can lie to him.
Yeah.
Like,
deception.
You'll see when he angrily comes outside after doing this over and over for a long time. He even accused me of it, right to my face. Knowing full well, I know that he's lying. He knows that I know he's lying. That irritates me a bit, because that's a dangerous sign to see in a law enforcement officer. So you can let me know what you think, but to the best of my knowledge, I believe this is the same vehicle. Doing it again. Doing it again. I think that would be a little bit weird. A little bit weird. So he's turning it off each time I walk away and back on every time I come back. So I realized, as if he's a circus performer, I can order him to do as I say and to do it on command, so we have a little fun with it. What? Do it again. Do it again, clown. Do it again. There you go. There you go. Get this clown trained. Watch this. Watch this. Come on, monkey, dance. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. You see that? You see that? That's pretty good. Now turn that shit off when I walk away. Turn that shit off when I walk away. Now you better turn that on, monkey. You better turn that on, clown, when I come back. Turn that shit on. Turn that shit on. Yeah. Trained clown. Trained monkey. I'm honestly shocked that I'm baffled that he just fell for that. Trained clown. Now, if we could only get them to follow laws and respect people's rights, as well as we can get them to do that on command, that would be amazing. Wouldn't that be amazing? Because watch this. Don't violate rights. Don't violate laws. Ain't gonna happen. But watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Do something stupid. Act like a circus clown. Act like a circus clown. There you go. I genuinely can't believe. I can't believe. Okay, I think you get the point. We're going to cut to the point where he comes out of the building. But in the different clips, as you can see the daylight changing, this went on for about an hour. We watched a sergeant, on your dime, apparently upset that we were uncovering wrongdoing by a fellow cop, instead of spending this time to do this. Retaliate, just try to be a jerk, maybe even trying to fabricate something. What we know for sure that he wasn't doing is working. He clearly was 100% focused on those video monitors, not protecting and serving, but defending his own feelings, I guess. What's he drinking? You know why he's doing this? He's angry that we are looking into a potentially dirty cop victimizing people. And there's why right there. There's why. That blue line. That blue line right there. I actually forgot about this part. After wasting that hour of your time, he decided another cop should waste time. And he called this cop to come up here just so he could come out of the building and get to his vehicle. I don't know what he could be afraid of. Many members of this department openly talk to me and definitely don't fear me. It must be sitting on your alarm, huh?
No.
That's odd that you got a skeleton in there. That's kind of grim. That's not a trophy, is it?
Keep your hands off the door handle.
It's not a trophy, is it? I can touch him if I want. I didn't, but I can. Hey, look. I touched the door handle. I touched it. I touched it. I'm touching it. Touching it. I touched it. I touched it. Yeah, don't hit me. You're. Be careful. Get rid of that. He didn't. He's been setting off that alarm because he's been trying to leave, and he's terrified to come out here when I'm standing here. Absolutely ridiculous. Did I get a little childish there for a minute? Yeah, I did. I did it intentionally to make a point, because what he just spent an hour of the public's time doing was ridiculous on many levels. He knows damn well I didn't touch that vehicle. He obviously knows he set the alarm off, and touching the vehicle is perfectly fine. Not just because it's not his and it's a publicly owned vehicle, but because simply touching it is not a crime. Intentionally damaging a vehicle or entering a vehicle, that's an issue. Touching it, not so much. All that aside, that was just totally unnecessary and beyond ridiculous. I had zero interest in him. I would see him frequently. If anything, I'd say, "How you doing?" which he'd ignore me, which is fine. He wasn't why I was there, and I had zero interest in interacting with him. But for some illogical reason, He demanded the attention he apparently hates. Blue line logic, I suppose. You didn't set your alarm off this time. What, you sideswipe somebody? You want to press your alarm again this time? What's up, Ward?